Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Ring a bell.
Season 12.
Bum.
Bum. That's right, Dragon. Tonight we are covering. It's the penultimate episode ever of Christmas in July, and we think it's appropriate. We've had a lot of good times with King of the Hill over the years. King of the Hill kind of tends to do a bit more unconventional Christmas episodes. Of course, I think Pretty Dresses is probably the most infamous one out of the lot. A lot of them are Bill centric, but here, Dragon, we are getting into a classic family strife around the holidays, which is a trope unto itself. And I'm really looking forward to talking through this episode. And of course, we're doing this because King of the Hill is coming back very, very soon with a new season after like 15 years. Really excited about that. But tonight we're talking a season 6 episode, The Father, the Son, and JC. So I got to tell you, Dragon, I was very, very happy with how this episode turned out on a rewatch for me. I was a little bit skeptical going into it of like, okay, is this episode just going to kind of like, because I definitely remember the episode. There's one line in particular, Dragon, one line by Hank Hill in particular in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
That I don't think you and I have the same line. I don't know. I'd be surprised if we did. It's very particular to me. But that I definitely remember. I remember all the Jimmy Carter stuff. I definitely remember Bobby confusing Jimmy Carter with Jesus at the end, and that being the end gag. But what I don't remember about this episode, Dragon, is how much of it really just kind of like hangs on that sort of like father-son tension that's been kind of like one of the big roots of the whole series. And I think this is a great Christmas episode to showcase that, and my fears of Jimmy Carter kind of overshadowing the episode, absolutely not the case. He comes in clutch as the great guest star in the last act, but up until then, it's all just really good, palatable family drama around the holidays. So, Dragon, I'm going to make the case that I think this might be my favorite out of this final lineup. We've had some good ones, but I really, really enjoyed my time with this one. It might be the nostalgia talking, because this is definitely one of the ones where it's like, you know, when King of the Hill was in its glory days of cable reruns, they would play this a lot, especially around the holidays. So I definitely do have like nostalgia about it. And that line that I'm talking about, and I guarantee you don't know what line I'm talking about. I'd be really surprised if you did. It's very
I love Hank Hill, so I mean there are a lot of lines that really hit it for
We'll
me.
see.
So
We'll see.
you know.
I'm very excited to get to that point, but it's kind of towards the end of Act 2, so it'll be a minute before we get there.
He's got a lot of good lines though, but I think I know your lines, but I don't know. Maybe I thought it was anyway. We'll get there.
Okay, but I'm really, really happy with this one. I think it's a great kind of last King of the Hill episode to go out on. What do you think?
Yes, this is a great episode from the kind of the early I don't know. It's like I want to say the early era King of the Hill, but it's like kind of like basically in King of the Hill there was a period where they really found a groove with Hank Hill's character, which is what was kind of my favorite. This is when I was really getting into the show, where it was like in the beginning, they didn't really. Here's the thing: over time, but here's like the sweet spot. Season 6 is when this episode happens, and a little before is probably when I imagine estimate probably like season 3, maybe midway through season is when they probably found like what they wanted to do. They kind of discovered who Hank Hill really was, and it's just the fact that he is this. It's the fact that it's just the full commitment to he's a man committed to kind of like the American ideals, as it were. He's very much he's a man of just not just American ideals. He's a man of just passion and commitment, but again through a very stringent way. Where Hank Hill is not like we just kind of played him early on. It's like okay, he's he's the Bubba of the neighborhood, which was kind of the premise of the show. He was like basically episode 1 of King Hill. I can never. It's always hard for me to recommend like a binge of King Hill.
Episode 1 is like I would just skip episode 1, honestly.
Yeah. It's always just like
I'm pretty sure episode 2 is the Fire Ants episode, which is like a way better introduction.
That's the thing. I mean, that's great. It's a man who like takes pride in his lawns. I mean, they
Hmm.
kind of got, and then they kind of
Exactly.
like they ironed out the bugs. No pun intended. And and eventually they kind of got to the point where yeah, he just Hank Hill's just very he's very committed. He's a man who's just he's very prideful of like the very mundane commitments, but he commits full heartedly. Which I
Hmm.
think is an admirable quality. Anyway, so this there's always been like this dysfunctional father son story in King of the Hill. Now we have more of a this is we're doing it through a Christmas vein that's in this case more biblical than we usually go with the Christmas thing, which
A
is
little bit, a
which
little
is
bit.
interesting. But no, that's the thing though. Given the setting, it works for our purposes.
Sure,
There's
sure.
not a lot of Christmas here. It's there, and the setting's there. It's the setup, but it was a
I just
lot of
think
fun.
the family values at the heart of the episode. That definitely makes it a Christmas episode more than any of the traditional like trappings of it.
At the end of the day, this one really it hits like the sweet spot of King of the Hill in terms of we have the humor, we have the pathos, and we have we kind of have the absurdity, and we also I guess I'm saying like it's always the balance of pathos and comedy,
For sure.
which I always love when King of the Hill can get into that where there's like genuine kind of heartfeltness or kind of like genuine human emotion underneath like the comedy, and then we kind of add like that little absurd like and how can we just kind of tweak it just a little bit when we get to the third act, you know. So the third act is insanely funny. Can't wait to get there. And I think I guess I'm saying there are two Hank Hill lines in this episode. Both of them I think are laugh out loud funny. One of them's a running gag, and I think that's your moment, but we'll get there.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I want to just say it so badly, but we need to build to
Okay.
it.
Anyway, so point being, a lot of love for Hank Hill. So let's do it.
All right, really quick in the comments, we have Sonia Pantoja just saying hi. How you doing, Sonia? Hope you're having a good Friday evening. All right, so yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So, Dragon, we start the episode in a familiar setting to start a King of the Hill episode in a hardware store. Now, Dragon, I'm sure that I've probably brought this up before, and for the life of me, I can't remember what episode this is from. But my absolute first impression of Hank Hill as a character, like when this show first came out, because honestly, when this show first came out, I really think it was one of those things where it's like, this is like The Simpsons, but more boring because it's more realistic. Which, like, this show fucking blows The Simpsons out of the water as much as I do admire classic Simpsons. As an adult, I think that. But I was into the theme song. Like, I thought the theme song was really catchy, and the animation, of the time lapse was really fun. But I remember when I tried to watch the show as a kid, I kind of struggled to get into it at first. But there was this episode that starts with not at a department store. It's so stupid, but of Hank and Peggy going through pictures of the new department store, and Hank Hill just has this line that just again, it's another Hank Hill a Hank Hill line that just lives rent free in my head. Well, Peggy, the pictures that we took at the new department store opening turned out great. And just like the pride, just the genuine enthusiasm and pride he had in that moment, that's kind of like when it clicked for me as a character. Like, oh, okay, I get what makes this guy funny. So,
Yeah.
so yes, and I'm sorry, it's not it's a department store. It's a hardware store. Within a mall. It's a mall hardware store. So mall shopping around the holidays trope.
Big old trope.
Mm-hmm,
So Hank scoffs at base. Essentially, it's like artisanal tools. It's
right.
essentially the best way I could describe this. It's like Russian hand crank flashlight.
I love the little like old fashioned dial phones just on like what are you gonna do with that? Peggy's just kind of randomly holding one.
Oh yeah, and then we have this guy Bobby brings up. Is
This is
essentially
another just excellent like 10 out of 10 Hank Hill line.
yeah. Well, so Bobby shows up and he has a hammer, and the idea is that Bobby and Peggy throughout the special they're trying to find like what's the perfect gift to give for Hank, who's impossible to shop for because he's very do it yourself and everything. He already kind of has everything he's ever gonna need. He hates
What
change and
do
he
you
hates
get
new
for the
things.
man who has everything?
Exactly, but he hates change and he hates everything new. So with that in
Right,
mind, it's
right.
like he's impossible. You can't get him new stuff. You have to find older stuff that he's gonna like, and apparently the artisanal stuff's not gonna cut it. So it's like, hey, Dad, they have this hammer says world's best hammer. Is Sears sold me the world's best hammer.
So somebody's lying.
Yep. Oh boy.
And again, the best part of Hank Hill as a character is the writer's like sheer and utter commitment to the bit, which, like you said, it took them 1 or 2 seasons to really nail it down. But when they nailed it down, they just went full.
It's the conviction. That's the word I was looking for. Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
conviction
absolutely.
is what sells Hank Hill, because you look at that episode 1 pilot again. Just skip over if you do a binge, kids. It's not. Look, I'm not saying the episode's terrible, but it is a bad sell for the show. It's not like
It's not a great first impression at all.
It is, because like Hank just getting angry and yelling at a social worker is just not great. There's nothing to be like. We enjoy a Hank Hill that takes pride in like the little joys of life, and we don't have that in episode 1.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
just a man of conviction.
I think episode 1, really what they were going for in the pilot very much was kind of the like essentially a younger version of Tom Anderson from Beavis and Butthead. That really was kind of like the pitch of Pank and Hagee. Wow, I did it. I think I've done that before. Pank and Hagee. Hank and Peggy at the start was the Andersons from Beavis and Butthead, but a little younger.
Right. Can you adjust your mic a little bit or something?
Let's see. I can try. Is this better? I don't know. Lean in a little forward.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. It's the same mic I have used for. Well, I mean, this is a new laptop, so.
Well, you sound better now. So let's just go with it while it lasts. So, Bobby suggests the gift certificate, which is like, Bobby, are you suggesting? Pegasus is coming here. It's like, are you suggesting we give your father, the man who conceived you, the same thing we give the paper boy?
Another classic Peggy Hill moment. Peggy's got some great lines as well. I feel like pretty much all the characters are kind of firing on all cylinders this episode with the lines.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, Peggy Hill, kind of after season
Peggy
4,
Hill's an acquired taste. She definitely, what's funny about that, Dragon, that I kind of wanted to bring up, and now that if we want to get into like Peggy Hill kind of being a little bit of a problem character.
Yeah.
Do you know what episode directly preceded this episode?
Oh, wait, no, this episode? No, I don't know what episode preceded this one.
Lupe's Revenge.
Oh, right.
Which is one of Peggy Hill's worst episodes. You know exactly.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. I forgot that came before this. Oh, wow.
It's the episode right before this episode, Dragon. Isn't that funny?
Oh, yeah.
Look, I'm more of a defender of Peggy Hill than most people are, but I can't defend episodes like that. I feel like Peggy Hill really is a problem when she gets the whole episode. I feel like Peggy episodes are kind of like, kind of one of the blights on King of the Hill in a way. But I think Peggy works here. I think she's very effective here. I think the fun part of Peggy Hill, when it isn't like the whole episode, is kind of like her misplaced pride and ego, and I think that is on display here without really being overbearing.
Well, that's the thing is, in general, so Peggy Hill was always like, after that episode where she broke every bone in her body. After the whole jumping from the plane episode, that it was always like the headcanon that maybe that's where it all started. That's if you look at it, that's kind of where we have like the really overinflated sense of ego and just like tone deafness, and she just really gets really dumb for plot purposes.
Right.
And we kind of have some shadows of it here. It's not as bad as in like episodes like before this with Lupe's Revenge, but
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I think here it's mostly just used to generally effective comedic effect, but like I said, she's kind of an acquired taste. So
sure. Okay, so let's see. So Cotton Hill, Hank's father.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this hilarious like kind of this thing where Hank is like giving him an ornament for like the trying to pick out an ornament for the the ornaments are like bulbs that say like very generic Christmas sayings. One of them says peace, and the other one says joy, and he holds it like peace. Of course, the old peace to the very fervent war veteran. It's like very pro. Like let's put those ears on that dog tag chain. That's very much his era of Anyway, so Hank he says like, no, Dad, peace like Jesus,
not like the hippies.
not like the hippies. So, which is just great. Says, now we're still a joy. I love that Cotton. Here's what kills me. Here's what really lit me up in the episode, and really good, and kind of lit my Christmas lights in this episode, Tiki. I love that I saw more layers of Cotton than I really had seen before, and I really appreciated that. I saw that.
I think this is absolutely one of the best Cotton episodes for sure.
We have Cotton's, like, we've seen Cotton is obviously a terrible father, but
a terrible person, generally speaking. Let's
exactly for sure, without questions.
Yeah.
Cotton, terrible. You know, it's like, what if you took Mickey Rooney and took out all the likability?
Oh,
it's essentially Cotton Hill. Anyway, the fact that under this episode we see under the bluster, there are moments where there is the connection to Hank that he will just not admit. And it literally takes like the threat of the destruction of Hank to really get him just even waver on it. But just little moments like this where it's like just he's willing to meet him here is like, well, still, okay, fine, you're right about peace, but still, we're a joy family. Anyway, so then there's a propane emergency.
Oh my God. And I think this episode really sets up some palatable tension with the whole, like, Buck Strickland being a father figure to Hank thing.
Yeah.
I like that Buck only really has, like, a couple scenes in the episode, but it's enough to really kind of, like, you know, kind of sow the seeds of dissent, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the gag in King of the Hill with Strickland has always been that, you know, Strickland, Hank respects authority to a fault, and that respect authority does not respect him. Which also, if you want to be all Freudian about it, or like some complex, it would be that again, like it's still a relationship kind of like he has with his actual father, only a lot more positive. It's, at least has a veneer of positivity.
Like, arguably, it's even more malicious, though, because Buck Strickland is just, like, very opportunistic when it comes to, like, he just milks Hank's loyalty for all it's worth. I mean, it's, you know, he's not near the worst example of a terrible boss in this episode, but he does have moments of, like, yep, that's definitely Buck Strickland being, you know, taking advantage.
But that's the thing, though, is that, again, one of the reasons you love Hank is that, again, there's that blinding adherence to authority. And, you know, it's like he's a company man, but the company itself doesn't care about the company. That's what Strickland represents.
Right. So, anyway,
you know,
yeah, go ahead.
It's like an oxymoron or something, you know? It's just.
So Hank rushes to the police station. Like, I love how just utterly committed to the bit Hank is. Like I said, he's just like, Hank Hill here representing Strickland Propane. I'm here for the propane emergency. The police are just like totally like just over it. They're just like, oh, there's your propane emergency. Buck's like in a cell, just totally washed out.
I love the I had a realization about Hank Hill, and this is just like an in the moment thing I realized. Hank Hill's kind of like you think of the Hank Hill voice and you break it down. It's kind of like it's almost like kind of a it's kind of like the Bubba version of Adam West Batman.
Okay, now you keep saying Bubba. What exactly are you referencing with Bubba?
Okay, do you remember Bubba Hotep, right?
I think I saw it like once.
Okay, so at the top of Bubba Hotep, you know, Bubba essentially is, you know, it's kind of like, you know, from the South, kind of trailer trash, kind of a, you know, like well, not trailer trash, but, you know, it's kind of like it's like a Southern king. It's the idea of it's kind of like the redneck equivalent of Elvis. That's essentially what a Bubba is. Okay,
got it.
So essentially, that's what I'm saying. So Bubba, and that was like in the premise of King of the Hill, though, is essentially he's the king of the block, so he's hence the title, King of the Hill. So he's the Bubba of the block. Yeah. Right. Anyway, but yeah, so it's kind of like it's, you know, like a good old boys. Essentially, that's essentially what a Bubba is. So he's like he's the pride of you know, kind of the rednecks. Essentially, basically he's like, you know, like the upscale redneck.
Definitely.
So the point being, it's kind of what if you took that kind of like, you know, there's kind of that homespun, you know, down homespun kind of like kind of cadence, but, you know, kind of that added basically that voice, but you gave it the Adam West cadence, or like the dutiful importance of an Adam West Batman. That's kind of what it kind of boiled. That's kind of real, especially him going to the police station with the official business kind of thing is kind of, you know. Anyway, so he shows up. You know, Hank Hill. He This was also, I'm sorry, real quick. They had another thing too, where with the propane emergency on the way out, Cotton chided him for being an assistant manager still. And this is something we never really talked about in King Hill. Only this episode really brought up, I think.
I feel like it's kind of like an unspoken tension throughout the whole series, that I'm kind of glad that it doesn't really get openly addressed because, like I said, it's kind of like one of those things, much like obviously the Dale John Redcorn thing is a little bit more upfront, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, I bet you it's on Hank and Peggy's mind a lot, but they just, I feel like if they brought it up consistently, it'd get kind of redundant. But I definitely think it's kind of looming in the background with Hank's job.
Yeah. So he's been assistant manager all this time, but again, Hank wears it with pride. And again, he shows up there at the police station. What does he find? He's wearing it with pride. Strickland with a DWI.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just love the whole why do you have to report it as a propane emergency? That's going to be $50 after I report us.
It's the fact that he has to report himself. That's Hank Hill to a fault, and I love it. He's so honest. I love an honest character. See, the white hats are so hard to write, by the way. The fact that you like the squeaky clean goody two shoes. Everyone always hates writing. That's why we have so many anti-heroes. That's why we have the Walter Whites and then the Tony Sopranos of the world. The Don Drapers, because they're so hard to write. But Hank Hill's proof that it can be done.
Yep, absolutely.
It can be taught. So anyway, so it's $50 fine and everything. He offers to drive Miss Strickland, which he really has no obligation to do. But Hank's just a swell guy, holiday spirit and all that. So
I like driving and you like sitting. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. So let's see.
They go to the Christmas tree farm.
Yes, and
also drunkenness and jail around the holidays, absolutely a trope. Being down and out around the holidays, trope.
So basically, Hank's having his Christmas.
Would you say cheap ornaments is a trope?
Yeah,
like crummy Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, just want to make sure we get it all in there. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So the peace we have the peace ornament come back. So basically, there was a nice moment of Hank is getting his Christmas wish. He's getting the Christmas that he wishes he had with Cotton here with Mr. Strickland.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's they're getting the Christmas tree together. He does not reject the peace ornament, and even buys Hank a tree.
I love that him not rejecting the peace ornament is basically like, my God, I wish this man was my real father.
It's so small. That's all it takes, really.
I wish this man was my biological father.
Yep. Biological father. Whoa! I'll tell you what.
It's like when that episode when they go to Japan, he meets his half brother. He's like, "Are you telling me that Cotton Hill is your biological father?" Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh God. Okay.
Anyway, so point being, we things, Hank's kind of having a Christmas miracle here, and Strickland says, he's it's the least thing he's buying him a tree. It's the least he could do for chauffeuring him, and he mentions he might be doing it for a while because he has until he's done his community service. He's put in his community service hours, which is for Habitat for Humanity, building a Habitat for Humanity house as part of Jimmy Carter's efforts in the neighborhood recently. So Strickland gets an idea.
Holidays trope.
Absolutely trope. Yeah. Trope it up.
All right, so Hank is, he's kind of like taken aback. He's like, I've been on the waiting list for 2 years.
That line I found to be so adorable. I'm just like, oh.
That's not the line.
I know it's not the line. It's just a nice line. It's a nice line.
Yeah.
Much like Little Blue's line in the comments.
Oh, God.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, let's see. So, okay, yeah. So Hank, basically Tom Sawyer's Hank Hill here. He gets him to build the house. Only it's more willing though. He gets it like, look, you can build the house.
I honestly think it's a fair trade-off because Hank Hill is actually the one that's going to get something out of this.
Yeah. So Hank invites the guys to help, and of course Dale wants to put booby traps. Like, no booby traps, Dale. Like, listen to me, no booby traps.
Bill really only gets the one line, which is, that it's kind of nice to give Bill a break, considering we've been through some shit with Bill around the holidays.
Yeah, we had the Santa thing, where he's that
whole... and the Christmas bounce house.
Well, that's the thing. I think that was in the Santa thing.
Right. But
I think so. Bill, he wanted to be Santa Claus and Christmas all year.
No, you're
round,
right. You're right. Yeah. And of course, pretty dresses. But Bill's one line here is funny. He's just like Hank's like, and so Buck asked me if I wanted to take over for Habitat for Humanity, and and Bill's just like, he did not. Well, yeah, he did, Bill. Why would I make that up? I don't know. Sometimes I just lie for attention.
Okay, we'll take a moment just to appreciate. God bless Stephen Root. Just
Absolutely.
A fine actor who never gets enough credit. But thankfully, I think, did he ever get a nomination for any of the stuff in Barry? You think? Did he ever?
I don't. I'd have to go and look. I don't know.
Regardless, yeah, he popped up.
I think Barry definitely kind of showcased that he's more than just like the stapler guy, because I feel like when people used to think of him, they by and large think either Bill Dauterive or the Stapler Man.
I saw him in such a every time I think of like the range of Stephen, I always think of this because obviously there's a lot of range, but I mean, like it's the rare dramatic example. He did this episode of CSI.
I know you cited this before. Yeah.
Like his daughter was violated, and he was like, he had a very realistic take. He had this great scene to Gil Grissom at the door, to William Peterson at the door, and he basically, so like, Miss Grissom, are you fathers? Is like, no. Well, then you don't understand. It's, oh my god! Right. So it was really good. Anyway, he popped up on. So they confirmed it. It's the last season of Resident Alien. Thankfully, he's going to have an ending, but Stephen Root popped up in it. Nice. Very memorable role. It was like one episode. There was a guest spot. It was a really good guest spot, though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so back to point being, so Hank invites the guys to help out, help build the house. Hank is giddy as a kid at Christmas to build the house. Is like, I'm gonna grab a shovel and practice at on Bill's lawn.
One thing I do like about the episode, like structurally speaking, is that like Jimmy Carter doesn't even really come up. Like, we might name drop him once or twice, but the possibility of even running into him on the job site doesn't really come up until he appears in the third act. Like, I do, just generally speaking from like a pure, humanitarian point of view, I like that Hank's fixation with Habitat for Humanity is just all about the actual charity of it.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So, Cotton arrives at the door, and he says, "This is what I'm saying. Cotton's making an effort here, which he never does." Mm-hmm. Cotton wants to go shoot a tree down, which I love is his equivalent to cut a tree down, which cracks me up. And the idea, this is their tradition, they shoot a tree down. Dad shoots him a tree. Says, "Oh, we already got a tree." And then, of course, Cotton throws the narrow urethra barb at him, which is kind of some continuity from the show with Hank.
That is very much one of Cotton's like go-to insults. It's like the cut close to the vest kind of move for him.
If memory serves, and Tiki, correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I've watched all this show, but I think you probably rewatched it more than I have.
There's definitely, like, I need to get caught up on some of the later seasons. As far as like seasons 1 through like 8, yeah, I've rewatched that endlessly on cable.
Well, I want to say this is from that period. If memory serves,
season 6, yes, it's very much from that period.
Anyway, so if memory serves, the narrow urethra thing is the reason he couldn't be drafted, right?
Correct.
Which is, of course, that's the big wedge there of like he would have had so much pride for Hank had he gone over, but the narrow urethra thing, oh boy. Anyway, also that and the fact that Hank doesn't clinically doesn't have a butt, which still cracks me up. Right. It's like a thing. It's like this thing we've always had in the character design, but we've literally making it a plot point of the show, and they had like the artificial butt and everything. Like the insole for the buttocks.
Oh man.
Okay, so let's see. Anyway, yeah. So point being, he's kind of clipping Cotton's wings here for his Christmas spirit. So again, the Christmas traditions: cutting down a tree or shooting down a tree. Trope. Mm-hmm. Trope represent. Anyway, yeah. So okay. So then Buck arrives.
Yep.
Yep, and I love that they're kind of like they're I'm sorry, I'm jumping a skosh ahead there.
Yeah, you are.
So this is great. So Cotton so sorry.
So Cotton basically gets offended that that Buck got him the tree, and he's kind of storming out. Peggy, she's kind of mentioning to Bobby that, like, hey, like, she kind of gets the idea that the best Christmas present for Hank would be to sew things up with his father.
It's very me, I with her too,
Absolutely. Yes.
It's like I know exactly what to give. Can I put my name on the tag? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fix the relationship with his father. So she butts in and basically forces him to invite Cotton to the groundbreaking ceremony, in which Cotton kind of like says, "Hey, Dad, I don't think you'd be interested in this, but you want to go to the
And this is honestly one of my
groundbreaking?"
favorite emotional beats of the episode is Cotton, like, he takes a minute, but he's like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I'm saying. Like the layers of cotton, man.
Uh-huh.
Rich cottony layers. All right, so Hank. Hank again. He knows his dad, and he knows it's going to be a no with an insult or under it though, and with the charity thing. But again, the fact that Cotton he ultimately agrees to do it, and in the surly way, it's like but still that smile that Hank gives, it kind of melts your heart though. It's just that
Absolutely.
rare moment. So so we're at the site of the Habitat for Humanity house. It's a 4-day build. Cotton arrives. He bought he brought his bayonet for the drywall to help with the dry. Which again,
it's a very it's a very Cotton Hill way of showing he cares.
I love it. Is again the fact that it's this thing he's used to kill many men, but he will use it to install a house for chairs. So we should mention so the house is for a couple, I believe, like an immigrant couple. We have the Lebecki couple.
Yes.
Of course, the male Lebecki here, Niefko.
Niefko. Okay, Dragon. Maybe the line is the line you're thinking of.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get there. We're all
We'll get there.
I love it too.
Okay.
I love that runner.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So, of course, Niefko.
Just the fact that Hank cannot differentiate the two, like the last name and the first name.
Yeah, which is
he's
funny.
He's trying, but he's not doing a great job.
No. Anyway, so they're building it for the Lebeckis.
Uh-huh.
And Cotton and Hank, they kind of have a moment over the bayonet there, and then Buck arrives.
Yep. I love how much tension, Buck isn't even, he's not, he's kind of being a little opportunistic in a Tom Sawyer way, like you said, but he's not actively being a jerk, but I love how much tension just his very presence causes between Cotton and Hank here.
And again, Cotton's internalizing. He's not getting all, fussy quite yet, but, So, to Hank, so basically at the big groundbreaking ceremony, and again, mainly so he can make sure Hank fulfill. I really think it's mainly just I don't know how it's just Christmas spirit on Buck's part, him doing something really nice, or just him okay, look, he's gonna be chauffeuring me around, and he's gonna be building this house. I should probably. That's the cynical way of looking at it, but it is probably honest.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm gonna give Hank a bit of a win here. So to Hank's shock, not realizing how long he's been waiting for this. For Hank shock, Buck he gives actually a really nice speech here, where he basically says that I've been through wives and divorces and all this kind of stuff, bypasses and all this stuff. But the one thing that I've only had one Hank Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So he promotes him to manager after 20 years. This is
basically the closest that Hank Hill ever gets to being SpongeBob.
Exactly, right here. This is the big, he becomes the manager of the Krusty Krab.
Yep.
This is big moment. So then we have the moment. It's a heck of an act break, Tiki. It's a wonderful.
It really is. Yeah.
So we have this moment where Hank Hill's he's giddy as a schoolgirl.
Mr. Strickland, I love you.
and it's like Strickland has like his arm around him or something. It's like this really nice moment, and just like the look of just instant regret on everyone's face. Just Hank, just like, oh God, what did I say? And Mr. Strickland just going like, Buck Strickland, just like he looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah. He looks so uncomfortable. Boomhauer's just shaking his head in disapproval.
And Cotton is just, he's deeply ashamed. I felt so bad for Hank, because it's like a thing that
I
just
gotta tell you, Dragon, I think this moment I think it's interesting that in today's culture, I kind of feel like throwing around the word love with friends and close people in your life is not. I think it's been more normalized in the past 20 years or so. So it kind of made me think, like, I think you could do something like that in the reboot with how much more that word is kind of thrown around, and it's not just romantic love. How much? I guess that is what I'm trying to say. How much, like, platonic love, let's say, has been kind of like normalized in today's culture. I definitely think that's something that Hank Hill could grapple with in the reboot.
And quite possibly. Will they have the sufficient episode number to do so? I don't know. But yeah, so poor Hank. He put him. He's kind of he let some of his heart show, and everyone got uncomfortable.
Yep.
So Bobby, of course,
even fucking Bobby he might have one of the cruelest lines in the whole.
Yeah, he does. But
why
again,
does have to act like a woman in front of Graham? Jesus Christ.
Now, to be fair, Hank kind of indoctrinated that. Hank and the culture kind of indoctrinated that one.
No, you're right. Yeah.
That was just the whole. Literally, as we show in this
episode, think Bobby is like trying to be malicious, but it's just, you're right though. It is one of those kind of like generational prejudices.
Like, as we even showed in the episode, like, Hank presumably he shook his wife's hand for the marriage. So I mean, that's just yeah. So let's see. So Cotton, like, oh no, the Cotton hates. Well, why do you have to go and act like a woman? Grandpa hates women.
Oh God.
So there. Let's see. We have. I believe we have Christmas cookies here, right?
We do indeed.
Yep, trope.
Of course.
So Peggy is undeterred. She basically gets the idea. Now, this one hit me in the feels here. So they get the idea of the photo calendar with moments of father-son bonding. So it's a Christmas tradition in my family that we always give the grandparents like a little photo calendar. Then I basically I use like it's like a Snapfish thing or something. I use the make a calendar. And I was really, I gotta admit, I had a moment earlier this year. I was going through stuff with my grandmother, and we found that I didn't know this. There was like in a closet, like all the calendars from all the previous years were kept.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I always thought my grandfather, like, we put them in his office, and I thought it was like always. I always imagined he threw them away at the end of the year, but no, he took them and he kept them. That was nice.
That's nice.
Anyway. So, point being, okay. So they're gonna use the photo calendar, but they have a problem. There's no mutual photos of them both being happy. There's like Hank is born, Cotton's miserable. Let's see. Then we have like them going hunting. Cotton is happy, Hank is miserable. So they realize, okay, well, maybe we can just splice something together. Maybe we can doctor the photos. So let's take the stupid idea, which is a classic Peggy Hill stupid idea. Like, hey, let's Bobby's idea, and Peggy's going along with it. Stuff. Like, let's take Cotton's photo and put on Peggy in the wedding dress. So it'll be shaking her hand.
Not the brightest Peggy Hill idea ever.
No, it does. I do like that as a foreshadow for what Jimmy Carter's trying to accomplish later.
Sure.
The crude blueprint, one could say.
All
right, let's see. So, okay, so after that suggestion, Hank's in a bad mood next day. He's getting mocked by the guys with the cement. Cement is permanent. He's very upset by them, like, carving in the cement there, and he tells, like, Niefko's asking, like, everything's okay. No, Niefko, things are not okay.
I love that running gag too.
My boss, and this to me is this is really unfair. Like, Strickland demoted him just because he said "I love you." That's
That is fucked up. Yeah,
because
yeah.
I forgot. Like, did Hank to keep the promotion or not? I was like, oh, that's just
No, because you're right. That would be a little bit of a continuity shift.
yeah, just that's a shame.
I had that promotion for all of 10 seconds.
So you guys, he had the world by the string for 10 seconds. If he just didn't say anything, he would have still had it. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Niefko puts it in perspective that hey, you're America. Men don't come to your house and like force you to go to war or die. So they don't enlist or die.
Mm-hmm.
It's so basically it ends up being a morale boost for pro America and like, hey, let's build us a house. We have a montage, very much kind of an Amish holiday montage, if you will.
I would say like Christmas fix it up montage is kind of in the trope. Like usually it's more Christmas decorations, but holiday montage is there.
There you go. Community bending together around the holidays montage.
Mm-hmm. Googie, yes, you don't have to apologize for being a downer, man. It's like I feel like you very much established yourself that your whole personality and presence on the channel is kind of being the contrarian. So be yourself, my friend. Be yourself. It's all good.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Tiki's made quite a meal out of being contrarian. It's okay.
Exactly. Basically, yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't even
like
what I think about Fantastic Four.
That's the thing. He's the Cotton Hill to my Hank Hill, pretty much. Like I'm happy, he's sad. I'm sad, he's happy. It's pretty much how it works.
Basically, yes.
Yep. Okay. So, again, Peggy just such an idiot in this moment here. We have the mug with, with the wedding photo on it. Cotton's head just replaced on it. They think this is a good idea.
Also, I can I just say at the end of the montage, I love the moment where Niefko's like, Harley Davidson. I think so too, Niefko.
That is good.
All right.
All right,
yeah,
so
Peggy's revealing the. Go ahead.
So Cotton calls on the phone. I love the way in which he does this. He calls Hank to tell him, "You're not welcome." I just called to tell you you're not welcome to Christmas dinner. Good day.
I think he says a good day.
A good day.
Which is great. Yeah, I love that. I love that little beat too. A good day.
It's the fact he's going to drop such an insulting bombshell, but with such a chipper like send off at the end. Though. That's what's great about it. That's why Cotton's great.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this is where we get it. This is where we get it.
Back. Yeah.
So rather than talk to Cotton, talk things as Peggy's recommend, like talk things through with Cotton. Hank is he's doubling down on it. We have a new tradition, Peggy.
Oh God, here we go.
Christmas with the Niefkos.
Oh God, it'll be a great new tradition.
Oh
Christmas
my God.
with the Niefkos. Oh God. Honestly, Dragon, this might be like a top 10 funniest Hank Hill moment. I don't know what. Like, there's a lot. It's like there's layers to this joke, man.
It gets funnier as it continues because later on, like I think, like the second or third time it happens, like so he brings it up here, like where's where we're gonna do Christmas with the Niefkos. It could be a new tradition, and later on, it's like Peggy, you're ruining Christmas with the Niefkos.
It's just like there's so much here. It's like obviously the gag of like he's confusing the husband's first name for the family's name.
It's even funnier.
And then I just love the idea that this family is essentially being like their Christmas is kind of being held hostage in a way.
And I love the fact that Hank is just putting so much stock in. This is going to go so well. They will invite us to this home for future occasions. Versus like the one occasion.
Poor people that, they just got into a new house. It's a charity house. They've probably been through some shit. They don't even speak English. All they want to do is fucking relax and have a nice Christmas dinner. But Hank Hill has to come over with all his fucking baggage and under the guise of like this tradition, like Christmas with the Niefkos. Absurd. It's so absurd.
Now, to be fair, I want to say like Hank and Peg, they're bringing the food to the Niefkos. It's like a charity thing as well. They're probably like bringing them. So at least there's like one that's like the trade off of like, okay, well, this is kind of weird, but Maybe this is what Christmas in America is. Who knows?
Sure, there is a little bit of that, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, so they have the whole Christmas with the Niefkos.
Christmas with the Niefkos.
So, before they actually show up there, so Peg visits Dee Dee to try and smooth things over, wife to, kind of wife to wife of the Hillmen. And Dee Dee reveals that Cotton is insanely jealous of Buck, but he'll never admit it. Yep. So it's now we have Christmas dinner with the Niefkos.
Oh God.
Which, by what's funny, Tiki? Like you go on like Wikipedia or Wiki or something, they will like the fan wiki for King of the Hill. They will tell you that the Niefko thing is like a production goof. But I think I'm with you. I think it's intentional.
No, I absolutely think it's intentional. I think it's Hank Hill he's very much like he's trying to be inclusive and rope this family in, but really he's so obviously using it for his own personal gain that he can't even get the name right.
So it's a Christmas dinner again. So Peg is somehow, I gotta admit, this is a bit of a hole in the episode. Like, how did Peg sneak the baby to the dinner with them, and Hank not noticing like a thing about like there was a baby who was not supposed to be here with them at this time, like at the Niefkos?
No, that's a good point. I didn't even really think about it until you said. Like, I do like the logic of Peggy reeling in Dee Dee to kind of go along with like, okay, I'm going to take the baby with us, and you're going to tell Cotton that the baby's here, and that's when we get the parent trap.
Maybe Peg's
father-son trap.
Maybe Peggy Hill was dumb enough that she tried to hide the baby in like a casserole dish or something.
Oh God. I mean, considering the episode that came just before this one.
She's good at smuggling, that Peggy Hill.
Yep.
Whether it be cocaine or foreigners, she can smuggle them.
Oh, God, I forgot about the cocaine. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love the whole boggle thing with the cocaine. God. Anyway. So, then that's where you're like, you're ruining
Christmas
our new holiday.
With the Niepkos.
You're ruining our new holiday tradition, Christmas with the Niepkos.
Oh, man. I mean, he just keeps doubling down on it.
So the wives have manipulated the situation. They parent trapped him. Cotton, he I love this for a moment though. He complimented the drywall. He's in the house. He's been
Totally.
It's a really nice moment. They were so like for a mere moment, everything was going good, and then then we have Buck Strickland being mentioned, and the moment Buck gets mentioned, the tent. Oh boy, he goes. Cotton has a full-on tantrum, and he demonstrates the unfinished elements of the house by wrecking it and destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically there's like a nail gun like handy, so he's it's. So also we have the one that was cruelest to me was like they have like the door stopper and the lamp, and the idea he's like tearing the house apart. And Peg said, and this again was unfair of like Peggy to force this. Like Hank's like trying to tell him to stop, and Peg said, "Look, the only way you're going to get him to stop is to tell him how you feel, Hank."
Peggy's essentially being like, "This is going to be a stupid pool," but Chicken Little, Abby in Chicken Little is basically like having that like, oh, you need to talk to your father and tell him how you feel.
Right.
That's essentially Peggy in this episode.
Pretty much. Yeah, because we know talking solves everything.
Oh, of course, naturally.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so she kind of forces it out of him, and he ends up saying, "There's another great act break here, Dad. I hate you."
This is honestly one of the all-time best, most effective King of the Hill act breaks. Absolutely. It's a fucking mic drop moment.
I love ultimately our three acts at the end of the day, they boil down to, I love you, I hate you, to I accept you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last one's not so spelled out, but it's kind of. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Niefko's completely in the dark as to what's going on here. Like, everything good?
And again, Cotton Hill is just like literally like tearing this poor fucking family's house apart, Dragon.
But it's like they bring food, so it's like, is this the tradition?
Oh God.
Is this what Christmas with the Hanks is like?
Right.
But he might as well just call him by the first name.
Exactly. Oh God.
All right, let's see. So Cotton locks everyone out of the house and he barricades it, like wreaking havoc. And after all that love I allowed your mother to give you.
That's a twisted line.
Yep. Peg wants Hank to apologize for saying what he said because she's convinced that he got confused by all emotions, which I mean is possible, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We should also mention, Bridget. I think isn't the Efko house decorated?
Like very loosely, but again, it's like it's still like there's still like exposed drywall and stuff. But yeah, let me. Yeah, I mean, there's like a wreath on the front door. There's some lights outside.
Right. Now,
it's not like totally decorated, but
Do you have visual aids from the episode by chance?
I mean, yeah, I'm literally like flipping through the episode.
Well, that's what I want to make sure, because I asked because I'm paranoid, because the image I have is a promotional image. It's not actually from the. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So let's see. So Peg wants him to apologize, and basically just trying to convince him. Okay, look, you kind of fired from the hip because you were confused. And this is And plus, then of course we have that trying to help and trying to fulfill her Christmas gift, but then she goes like, "Plus, I left my purse in there." It's always the selfish reason, Hank. Always the selfish. So Hank refuses to apologize because he meant it. And I love the principled nature of Hank Hills. I'm not going to apologize for something that I meant. And he's right, and Cotton deserves that. He kind of does deserve the "I hate you" after everything he's put Hank through.
Absolutely.
So Bobby questions this. Can you hate your own father? He's like, nothing says a father and son have to like each other or love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which is messed up.
That's like genuinely kind of sad. Like Bobby Hill coming to terms with like the fact that adulthood sucks.
Yeah. So he's kicking a can and thinking about life, and
oh boy,
he then meets JC. Now Tiki. I want to spell this out for you, okay? So JC, much like DG, stands for something, stands for a name, okay? However, unlike DG, which is a very obvious name that means, DG means what, Tiki?
I mean, Six Flags taught me this, Dragon Dick Grayson. If I had any doubt before Six Flags, I don't have any doubt now. It's absolutely Dick Grayson. The trivia told me.
Very good. So DG stands for Dick Grayson. Now, JC, on the other hand, a lot of people think it might stand for Jesus Christ. In this case, it stands for someone else, and this is an exception, Tiki.
Jimmy Carter. I was trying to think of a celebrity that has the same initials, but I can't. So
Jim Carrey.
There we go. That's easy, actually. Why did I not think of that?
Jamie Chung, Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, sure.
See, not that hard.
Okay.
Anyway, but so it is in fact the one, the only, the risen Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, looking back on the episode now, there's some added resonance to the episode when you kind of think that.
Of course. Dragon, was this your first exposure to Jimmy Carter?
I mean, maybe. I think so.
I think it was absolutely mine, outside of just I'm sure that I had school tests where I would have to memorize the presidents, so I'm sure I heard the name.
I mean, there's a chance.
This is absolutely for me the first time that I saw him, as far as the characterization wise.
There's a chance I had him in Time Squad. That's probably what if I had a first.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah,
because that's essentially how I met all the presidents. It was through Time Squad.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's just say there was one test I really flunked that I'm still embarrassed about, but Anyway, so it was Jimmy Carter here. So again, this makes sense. He would be in the neighborhood. This is his project, his Habitat for Humanity thing, and this is not him as president.
You're not from the Noodle House.
which is such a great opening line. But yeah, so it's Jimmy Carter again. He's not. This is not him as president, kids. This is Jimmy Carter as like he was like, honestly, I want to say Jimmy Carter might have been the most popular ex-president, at least for a while. Like, he was like for a long time. He was like,
I
oh
mean,
yeah,
now
Jimmy.
I absolutely think it's probably Obama, but
Well, I know that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Pre-Obama, he was like Jimmy Carter was like like the living president that was like was finally remembered as short term, and it was like thinking like he like was like Jimmy Carter probably more than most. Again, like Obama probably being the second one you would go to this, be the second go to for this. Be when you think of like calling somebody Mr. President after they were president. This guy earned it. I think he earned like the whole Mr.
Well,
President.
I think he earned it specifically for being kind of like an everyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
He was a humble peanut farmer. He was Jonathan Kent with less farming aspirations.
Oh my god! And we already established this is I love the continuity here because Jonathan Kent was running for a political position in the Smallville episode.
Yeah. So let's see. So Bobby loops JC in.
Mm-hmm.
No, not JC Reifenberg. Jimmy Carter.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so I love that Bobby. Like we learned what his Red Rider was this year, which was Benny Hill tapes.
Benny Hill tapes. Yes, that's a perfect Bobby Hillism.
So one trope, Red Rider, beloved Christmas gift.
Sure,
coveted Christmas gift. Flip side, again, it's a gift that just perfect for Bobby Hill because we established, it's very down home, very southern. By the same token, though, it's it's comedy, which he likes that Hank bumps up against. It's perfect for him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so so even if he did get the Benny Hill tapes, he asked Santa for Christmas. Won't save Christmas. So Jimmy Carter offers to talk to the kind of. Jimmy Carter's big thing, of course, was diplomatic relations. So he's, he's being called to task to do so. He says, "I may just be a carpenter, but I have often been called upon to do, to help resolve disputes." But yeah, I love
how that's like a tease, but it's like, no, not what you're thinking, still.
But again, I love that we can see the joke there. Just like, okay, we're likening him to another Jace.
Right. Yeah.
But again, he's very salty there. This feels like a present Hank Hill will respect until we get to the ending. But
Uh-huh.
So Bobby has no idea who he is.
Nope.
Must be some carpenter. Have like a white limo to pick us up. Which got him as a really like Carter really could have walked, but we need the limo for the later gag, so that's why,
That's true.
You really think about it.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but yeah, he thinks it's an armored limo though, so maybe that's why.
Right.
Okay, so they arrive in a white limo. Dad, here's some old guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jimmy Carter, and again, Peg's ego yet again, and just thank you for your thank you for your honesty and I'm sorry, Peg is like kind of insults Jimmy Carter, saying like for the time being, basically everyone's making fun of Jimmy Carter because he has such a short term.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's they couldn't take that away from you. So this is great. This is the other Hank Hill. This is a runner-up for the Hank Hill line. Obviously, Christmas with the DF goes. That's the line. But this was a really nice. This is a really genuine, like legit Hank Hill, a very pathos-driven Hank Hill line. He shakes Jimmy Carter's hand, saying, "You ran our country."
Yes,
America.
That is a perfect Hank Hill line, absolutely.
Out of context, that's like if you need to think that this sums up Hank Hill, just like if he met any sitting president, it's like a former sitting president, be like, you ran our country, America. Just the
America.
There's such honesty. It's just such honesty there, I love that. So between that and the next line, where basically, so I hear you said you told your dad you hate us, is like the honesty which he owns up to the statement. He is not back down, doesn't backpedal. He's like, oh gee, Uma. He just says, hate's a strong word, Mr. President. That's why I used it. Hate my dad. I love this thing. He says it so proud. I hate my dad. Oh boy! So then, of course, this gag. Let's just say it's still somewhat timely. The whole, Egypt and Israel, they.
Oh yeah, I was actually kind of thrown off a bit by that. Just how timely that is. Yes.
There was a time where this is still a really funny joke, and it still holds up because of this. It was like there was a time where Egypt and Israel never accepted each other's right to exist. We all saw how that turned out, which funny and topical.
Indeed.
So the fact that I love it's unresolved is just perfect, just the way that joke plays. So Hank refuses to go in and talk to his dad. And he's a lovely, hate just it keeps making Hank feel good. I hate him, and it makes me feel good to say so.
Right.
So this might be the funniest exchange in the whole episode. In all honesty, it might be. There are a lot of good ones, but this one still cracks me up. Okay, so Jimmy Carter walks up to the door. He knocks on the door, and says, "Mr. Hill." He's like, "Jimmy Carter? Yeah, this is Jimmy."
Yeah,
like
this is Jimmy.
No, just the casual nature of just like the one that Cotton knows who it is. Just hearing Mr. Hill, he knows that he's such a patriot. He knows. Yeah, this is Jimmy, just being very nonchalant about it. See, Jimmy Carter never gets enough credit for being a cool president, man.
Well, I mean, we saw the pictures of what he looked like before he died, and that
I know he
doesn't do any favors.
No, it doesn't. That's the shame of it all. It's like we threw him around like a vegetable.
Yeah.
He turned into a peanut. It's not good.
Indeed.
Anyway, so
table that peanut thing for later because I'm gonna use it in our little outro.
Okay. Anyway, so he butters Cotton up, saying he's always wanted to meet a real, genuine war hero. Gets him through the door, and again, just the peace talks on it. Again, I love that we've set up peace with the Orderman. Now we're actually doing a peace-related kind of thing in the third act.
Yeah.
All right, so Jimmy Carter suggests. Sorry. When he's in there, Cotton he pats Jimmy Carter down as like, I have a Nobel Peace Prize. You don't really have to. And he finds the ankle holster and he's trying to rationalize it. Well, the Secret Service, and says and Cotton respects it. There's it should have been a bigger gun though. On that we can agree. So this begins the peace.
And then I just love how Jimmy Carter just throughout the episode he's just like, now you see that's common ground. That's something we can agree on.
Yep,
that's Jimmy Carter's big thing is the common ground thing.
Yeah. So Cotton's perspective is that Hank's always been he's a hateful crybaby ever since he popped out of his mama. So Jimmy Carter suggests he goes to Hank and he suggests a positive. Tells Hank, look, I suggest that we have a positive thing to start the conversation here. Wait, what positive thing my dad say about me? There's a pause. You go first.
Yeah.
Let's see. So time has passed, and just Jimmy Carter. This is hilarious. This is why Act 3 is awesome. So Jimmy Carter's at wit's end. And he's getting frazzled. They've been eating pizza and probably beer cans around the place. It's just not going well.
I think one of the best lines of the episode.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter. He's trying to get anything out of Cotton, anything at all about even when Hank was a baby. You surely must have loved it. And then Cotton's like, everyone hated that baby.
Hated a baby.
Hated a baby. Great Jimmy Carter. I love it. But honestly, Jimmy Carter's voice acting in that moment is fucking potent, dude.
Yeah. Okay, we should mention the sound alike for Jimmy Carter.
Is it? Okay, that makes more sense.
I wish it was Jimmy. Believe me,
it was too, man. That'd be.
I really.
You know what? The episode did such a good job characterizing him. All this time I kind of just.
I didn't know it either. I was with you. I had the same thought. Just rewatching the episode, I thought the first time I watched it way back, I thought that was Jimmy Carter.
Right.
So actually, the voice I don't know the actor's name, but I know the other role that he played in King of the Hill. Buckley.
Oh my God! Oh, that's crazy.
Right? That's him.
That's some range, man.
Yep. Anyway, So, but just the fact that time passes, but I love like the desperation in the performance to the whole, like, like, look, just between you and me, your son, you don't hate your son, right?
He's like in the full on like stages of grief part of this whole process.
But I love the timing in the edit here, the back and forth between them, like the Cotton's timing is just great. Like, I do head to toe, and his wife.
And his wife.
Well, the Carter's pulling out all the tricks he has in negotiation, probably in negotiating with foreign countries and everything, and all the dictators and terrorists and God knows who else. Just like he was okay. Look, he was a baby once. Everyone hated that baby. Hated a
baby.
So then this cracked me up. I laughed so hard at this. Like, okay, hypothetically, let's say there was a magic button. If you push this button, Hank would cease to exist for all time, permanently. And it's like, I'm not going to answer a hypothetical. Come on, Cotton. Would you push that button? And we have like this, not yes. Oh God! Just the fact, and the father wouldn't obliterate your father. My father wouldn't obliterate me.
Like legitimately taken aback by it.
But again, that's the common grace. Like you both again, like the whole Egypt Israel, they like all they recognize there's a chance of existence here, like the right to exist almost. Anyway, so they build from coexistence essentially here, and they get to go. Can you come outside? Look, if you come outside, Cotton, you can shoot my bulletproof limo.
Oh God!
I love that. That's
Dragon. I fucking adore how this episode wraps up. I think it's perfect.
So one is just great that the bulletproof limo is like it makes sense. That's what would get Cotton to come outside.
Yes, absolutely.
No harm, no foul. So they're so close to the handshake, which is basically our visual image here where he's just, I love it's a great visual symbol for the episode. He's just trying to get these two to shake hands, and it takes Jimmy Carter to get the Hank, the Hank father, the Hill father and son to go have an olive branch here. And they're so close to a handshake, and he's forcing it as much as he can. So he's like, wait a minute, you said I could shoot. I love that he's prioritizing the limo so he doesn't get screwed out of the deal. And the fact that
the father and son bonding moment of like Hank completely understands the legitimate, the importance of a deal and a man's word when it comes to something like this.
And these are the reasons I love Hank Hill kids. The hilarious. I love hilariously Jimmy Carter put all this work in. He welches on the limo shooting. Right, he's already said it's bulletproof, and as far as he knows, it's bulletproof. He's just welshing on this, and then Hank defending Cotton, which is the real olive branch of the thing. He's like, Mr. President, did you give your word that he could? Dad, did he say that you could shoot a limo? Mr. President, did you give your word that they could shoot?
Well, I mean, I might have floated it on the table, but I think you two have bigger things to work out right now.
Dad, go on and use the nail. Let's just use the nail gun.
Mr. President, you gave your word.
God, I love it. And he's using the nail gun and he's shooting it. It's like using the nail gun, like the actual gun, which makes So he's shooting like into the thing, and then he shoots out a window, which basically reveals it is not bulletproof at all. So Jimmy Carter bounces like they told me it was bulletproof.
I just love how after all that effort, after like Jimmy Carter, the whole like hit it a baby, like it's just the one like his car getting a little shot up, and it's like he's out. He like that's it. That's the breaking point.
It's honestly that's when he realized he's in actual danger here, where he's thinking, God, yes. What if the Secret Service only has rubber bullets? Oh God, what if they're not even armed? He's assuming they're armed. Maybe they aren't.
Oh man,
maybe his gun had blanks in it. He doesn't know. So yeah, he's getting out of there. It's such a hilarious idea though. The idea because you always see like there's the White House, the way it operates. I assume it proceeds to every ex-president. Every ex-president gets a Secret Service detail or gets like some form of, if they do something, they have to have like the armed guards. There's there's still a protection detail. They're given like the courtesies of a president, at least to some degree. The idea that they would have skimped out on that, just because, he's not the actual president, whereas it's a formality, really. It's the idea they would have cheaped out. This cracks me up.
Right, right.
So this is nice, and this is the perfect, like, this is the perfect. I hear the nail gun bonding moment of like they're not saying it to each other, but they're talking against they're using like the third party item here, like oh, that nail gun is good PSI on that. And it's like I love shooting this nail guns, and it's basically their way of saying I love you to each other without actually saying it. So it's they don't hate each other by the end of this, which is nice. And then Bobby he spells out the whole the JC thing for Tiki,
Yes, yes.
where Bobby thinks it's Jesus Christ, and it's really Jimmy Carter, and it's this whole thing of like, hey, he's a carpenter, he's pretty old, he brokered peace, Christmas miracle, getting you two to not hate each other. And they just and basically Hank and Cotton, they make fun of Jimmy Carter together, like he thought a one-term president was our Lord and Savior. Ah.
Mm-hmm. The man wore a sweater. All right.
Yep.
And then Peggy kind of comes in at the end and that, Bobby, is how I, Peggy Hill, saved Christmas. She doesn't say the Peggy Hill thing, but she might as well have.
Did we end on a sign or something?
Yeah, we end on the Merry Christmas sign over the Niefko house.
Yep. Christmas with the Niefkos.
Oh, I'm so glad that you and I are on the same page.
Yes.
Sure that is.
Peggy, you're ruining dinner with there's dinner and Christmas. The event is Christmas. Yes. The specific is like dinner with the Niefkos.
Oh my! Oh
See, the tradition is Christmas. The event is dinner.
It's so ridiculous. All right, Dragon. Yeah. So, let's see. Kogia says, "I love that Dragon is still held on to the initial joke." The initials joke. Yes, the DG thing. Indeed, it is. It has become a fun running gag. Indeed. Again, when I saw that shit at Six Flags, I was just like, oh my god.
I think he was just raising his hand. Oh, pick me. I know this one. It's Dick Grayson.
Anyways, we also had Little Blue in the chat here. He's saying, I'm the Mac Daddy of Hamlet County. I play it straight, yo. Now you get the hell out of my hood. Says, I just thought I'd throw in a random Hank Hill.
He's mentioned it because he knows that's one of my favorite episodes of King of the Hill. At least one of my favorite bits. I just love the whole Hank Hill being confused for a pimp. It's just really funny.
Right. Okay, so yeah, thanks to Little Blue, Kogias, Sonia Pantoja for popping in and saying hi. You guys are all awesome. All right, Dragon, final thoughts.
Final thoughts again. This is definitely one of the top tier Christmas episodes from King of the Hill. I'd have to put it side to side, but here's the thing: when I think of King of Hill Christmas episodes, the three come to mind. They're like the best. You have this one, you have Pretty Dresses, and you got honestly the Mrs. Wakefield.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you're still not really in a place emotionally to handle Mrs. Wakefield, or else I would have recommended it.
Well, I mean, time has passed. I mean, I think maybe
sure, but it's still heavy. It's still a heavy topic.
Well,
I think that we made the right call going with this one over that one, just because there's just so much great characterization happening here.
But honestly, short of a rewatch of Pretty Dresses, I would say this one might be the best one of the three.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the point being, this is a great episode. It's a big one for Cotton and Hank, and it's just funny as all get. That's what I want from King of the Hill. So it's in that sweet spot of when they nailed down the Hank Hill plots and the kind of the Hankisms, and the Peggy's kind of to a minimum, which is what I like it to be. So we're good.
Totally. Yeah, I don't know. I love this thing, man. I really liked Lexmas. I definitely really liked Lexmas, and the other couple episodes we've covered have also been fun. I don't know, Dragon. I think this one might be the best of the final season, Christmas in July. I think this one might be our highlight. I could honestly see Christmas with the Niefkos being a running bit. We'll see. We don't want to force it, but it's so fucking funny. So yeah, love it. Absolutely great episode. Really kind of embodies what makes King of the Hill work as a show.
I'll tell you what.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
So Tiki,
Uh-huh.
we should discuss some tropes.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I was gonna. I'm already all prepped up for the other thing. Yes.
Oh no,
My bad. My bad. Okay. Mall shopping around the holidays. Trip to the mall around the holidays.
being hard to shop for.
Indeed. Family drama.
Yeah, ornaments and cheap ornaments.
Cheap ornaments. Absolutely.
Chopping down and or shooting down the Christmas tree.
Yep. Christmas charity work.
Yep. A big kind of the promotion and or I'm lumping it with the Christmas vacation, kind of like the jelly of the month, the whole Christmas bonus thing. So basically, recognition from the workplace around Christmas.
Being in jail around Christmas.
Let's see. Again, I mentioned the father-son strife there. Religious component to the holidays.
Sure.
Let's see. Hostage situation at Christmas.
Yes.
Die Hard.
That is a trope, yeah.
Let's see. Okay, well, again, we had like small decorations, within the Niefkos. New Christmas traditions with the Christmas with the Niefkos.
Yes.
Christmas dinner with the Niefkos.
Celebrity guest star.
Oh yeah, yes, indeed, yeah. That's a big one. Christmas. We had like the Christmas sign with "Merry Christmas." Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything. It's not, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's not a whole lot of Christmas, but there's solid Christmas.
But I think the themes are really strong in this episode, and I think that's what really sells it for the Christmas stuff.
Yep.
All right.
But Tiki, I tell you, man, this episode this was the tops, man. This was great. Top of the hill, one could say. We had such a great time with it. We didn't have like a bazillion tropes, but we had tropes that mattered. Darn it.
Absolutely.
And tropes are traditions, Tiki. If we don't honor our traditions, like Christmas with the Niefkos, what are we? We have to celebrate. We have to observe it, and how best to observe it? Then we gotta magnify it. We gotta magnify it to fully appreciate it.
Wait.
What?
Magnify.
Yeah.
Magnify. Magnification. Adventure Through Inner Space reference. Let's see. So Jimmy Carter, man, he was known as a peanut farmer.
Yes.
I could imagine George Washington Carver ran some fucking pool.
Well, I mean, he was involved in the peanuts.
Yes, I imagine in his scientific research of peanuts, he must have put maybe peanuts under microscopes.
Everything but peanut butter.
And for the 5th episode in a row, Dragon, you know what didn't show up as a trope?
What, Tiki?
Mistletoe.
You're right, by
We've had
Joe.
a distinct lack of mistletoe in the final season of Christmas in July.
Tiki, you're cooking with gas right now. Where are we going with this, man?
So let's see. So how about instead of peanuts under the microscope, what about mistletoe underneath the microscope?
Mistletoe under the microscope. It sounds kind of catchy. You could put it on a bumper sticker. We can make T-shirts of that. Oh my, Tiki, say it for the folks, for posterity, while we're still fresh in your mind.
All right, join us next time, folks, as we put the mistletoe underneath the microscope. Next time on Christmas in July. Christmas with the Niefkos.